Aloha, Flow Riders. You know, the thing is, I want to look here, but we got to look at the obs. Flow Riders, we are chilling in lovely Florida. Pablo, honey, come to Florida. And here, let me do this. I just want to do this for no apparent reason whatsoever. I just want to hit this button right here and let you guys see Florida. But the table is crooked, so never mind. Anyway, we're going to come back. Welcome to the show, Graham. Katie and I are live from outside.
We're live from outside. We're live on location. This is a pretty chill episode. So we are here in Orlando because we are going to be attending, speaking, presenting at both PodFest and She Podcast. The events are running concurrently. Is that the right word?
Yes, concurrently.
Here at the Wyndham Resort in Orlando. So
not sponsored.
Not sponsored. But we figured we would test out what it's like again to be live on location. We thought we'd play everything outside. We're happy to take anyone's questions and talk through some of the things that we see upcoming here at these two podcasting events. And yeah, answer anything in between. Otherwise, we can just hang out and talk. I see a question coming in here from
Rich
about the missing episode.
It's next week.
So guess what? We ended up pulling in one of the founders of PodPage to join that episode. So we pushed it out to next week so that we could make sure that
Brendan was nice enough that not only going to do that episode next week, but I think the following week or Valentine's week, S or no S? Valentine's week.
S.
I think it's S because it's his day. Valentine's Day, not Valentine's with an M. We're going to do a master class too. So not only will you get the intro, you're going to be able to go deep dive like 2 weeks later. So if you decide to start a trial or do something, you'll have all your questions ready for the master class. And never mind me cleaning my glasses. I just need to be able to see.
There's not a lot of sun today, I gotta say, which actually is much better for video because the overcast clouds is like the perfect lighting.
I just noticed the creative amplifiers, and I feel Diana would get mad at me if I didn't go for the people.
For the people.
Okay, so hello from Bonnie, Scotland.
Hello.
If you could send me a bottle of Speyside or Highlands whiskey pronto to Orlando, Florida at the Wyndham Resort, I'd be stoked.
Yeah, I'd like Edinburgh gin. That's my jam.
Edinburgh is actually really good.
Edinburgh gin is amazing.
Hendrix. I like Hendrix too.
Hendrix is good. Hendrix is my standby because I can't get Edinburgh gin in the States. So it just means I have to go to Scotland more.
Hey, there you go. Because the Edinburgh gin, it has a little bit more of a I want to call it floral, but it's a more natural
fruit. They also do a lot of fruit infusions.
Forward.
Yeah.
I tend to drink my stuff without them infusing it and infuse it myself.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can control it more.
That's true.
But the other thing, this week in gin, have you ever had Real Deal Juniper?
This week in gin.
It is
that should be my new show.
Oh God, Real Deal Juniper, is amazing. It's totally different, and I think it's called Genevieve is how they actually pronounce it in the actual country.
I don't know.
It's where we got gin from, but Genevieve is the real thing. It's different and it's so good. Bowls is the closest thing that you can get in the U.S. that's of the original quality.
Yeah. Not an answer to a question, but just so Rich and everyone else who's hanging out in the live studio audience is aware, and those watching and listening later, the PodPage episode, which is our brand new website tool, great for podcasters who are looking to build a really efficient, easy to create website. They actually dropped a special perk just for Ecamm fam and for Flow Riders. So I put that onto the perks page, the Ecamm perks page. If you know, you know. Maybe Paul will drop in the link and the password for that for you. And it's also, if you're in our Discord, ecamm.tv/Discord, you can find that in the perks channel in our Discord. So there's a good deal for anyone that is new to PodPage. It took me, I want to say, a day of setting up, and that was me being real finicky. I think probably you could be up and running with a PodPage website in 20 minutes. It's so easy.
Simple.
The cool thing about that, because I do think that this is kind of a good trend, and I expect a lot of people will be talking about this at the event, is that finding ways to make things much, much easier as a podcaster and as a content creator in general is huge, right? Because you'd rather be spending the time focusing on the content itself. So tools like PodPage just allow like the automated and the automation side of it to do all of the stupid work that you don't need to be doing. So I was saying to Doc, like what's kind of cool is it'll even drop on any of the social platforms that you connect it to. It'll just drop like a, hey, a new episode's out, check this out note on all of those platforms when you upload your new episode. So even like little things like that, I think go a really long way. And I was saying to Doc, it doesn't even have to be perfect. So maybe we try that for a bit and we're like, it seems a little bit too like annoying or not the verbiage we want. We can go in and edit that or tweak that, or maybe we remove that automation and approach it a different way. But it level sets, like it gives you that floor so that then you can focus on other things and get to that step when you want to get to it. But I do think it's worthwhile.
In a podcast relation thing, like say, especially from the gear standpoint, this is one of those things where somebody will buy a quote unquote hashtag beginner gear type situation, and then tell Karen not to call during the live stream. They will buy some quote unquote beginner gear situation, and then they'll buy a bunch of other things to make it work. Like, say, I'll pick the Sony A7 IV, right? Because on the starting A7 IV is $2,400. If you got proper lens, everything, it's $3,000, maybe $4,000. So somebody would then say, "Oh, I'm just going to buy this like sort of webcam thing because it's only $300." And then they'll buy a big ass light to make it bright enough so that the picture looks good.
Yeah.
And then they're buying some type of filter stuff, or then they buy some editing stuff that when they go into Final Cut, they can make the picture look better. And they end up adding almost the same amount had they just bought the right thing in the first place, which it becomes actually easier because it's what it is, right? So putting plywood in the back of a pickup truck is much easier than strapping it to your car or your minivan, taking all the seats out. Well, you can fit in the minivan, but you got to take out all the seats, and then you got to find a way to keep it from sliding around. And it ends up being more than had you just got the truck or rented that $19 Home Depot truck for the day.
Yep.
And so in the idea of thinking you're saving time and money, you're actually making it more complicated.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people do that when it comes to, say services. The platform comes with a free website. And I don't think Mark will be mad at me for saying it. It's very basic because Mark and them are focused on helicopter. We're doing a live stream. It's the second time.
A good test to hear how loud it is.
I haven't seen that guy all the last 2 days. I ain't seen that guy now. Hey, Katie. Hey, Doc. Anyway, so I think Mark, when they put the website there, just like Podbean or BuzzFeed or Buzzsprout, all these guys, they put the page there because it's a selling feature.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like your car should come with windshield wipers. But anybody that knows better, if you live somewhere rainy, immediately throw away the stock wipers and get good quality silicone ones because they just work better.
Yep.
I think that's the thing. PodPage is a website that will actually help you get traffic. It's better interaction with your audience. It's like it's a webpage by podcasters for podcasters.
Yep.
Whereas opposed to just using what's built in free with the thing that you came with.
Yeah, and the fact that it's built for podcasters again makes it have the features that are actually super relevant for all of us, right? So like things like what it because it's pulling in your podcast through RSS, right? So like it knows when your podcast episode has dropped. It can do all like it can let social platforms know that there's a new episode out. It can prioritize that and put that at the top of the at the top of the page. It like automatically pulls in all the episodes and creates episode pages. It does all the things that it knows you need to do as a podcaster, but either like don't have time for or don't know about or didn't think of or like so
normally it's didn't think of because you haven't done it, you haven't been in that space.
Yeah.
So like you don't know how well you know how to change a tire until you actually have to change one.
So true.
And it's not the thing that you practice, but the day that it's freezing and you don't even remember how to get the jack out of that secret cubby hole in your car.
Yep.
And so that I think you're right about that. You don't know you know it until you know it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it's been really interesting prepping and like building out kind of our plan for schedule for this event, which it starts officially tomorrow, but most of the main sessions are Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then a few kind of like lingering sessions on Sunday. But I was going through the different like tracks and some of the different things that people are, asking questions about or content is based on. And it's the typical buckets. So it is good to know that like, even if you've been doing this for a while, there are lots of people out there who also have been doing it for a while and still have like, you know, these baseline questions or still haven't figured it all out yet, right? Everything is changing
sometimes
rapidly.
And this is a good, okay, some of you guys are here. Like I'm looking at Rich in India. Oh, by the way, hi India in the chat. We just had breakfast with India. And I told her to get the sandwich I got, but she hard-headed. She tried to get a Brooklyn sandwich and it was booty. Anyway, she's gonna be mad at me for that. I'm looking at, I like Rich is here. And so Rich has been doing his podcast for a while. Right. And what happens, and I'm not blaming Rich for this, but what happens with a lot of podcasters, you're doing your podcast for a while, everything is working, so you stop messing with it. And then you find out 2-3 years later, there was something that you probably wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you completely forgot about it because you've just been going with the flow.
Yep.
So, you know, we were talking about last night, this idea of going back and doing a full inventory of everything you have for your podcast.
Audit, yeah.
And so PodPage, interestingly enough, PodPage has a guest invitation system.
Yep.
And I'm still doing it with Calendly, but I think you can do more when it's been purpose driven by a podcast person.
Yeah.
Because Calendly invites are for all myriad sorts of things.
Yeah.
But the invite in PodPage is for a podcast guest.
Yeah, it's very specific.
So it's very specific questions and you're doing the thing. It's the difference between trying to use a multi-purpose drill bit versus one made for masonry. If you just use the multi-purpose one, yes, you can drill a hole in the concrete. You will dull the bit. It will take you forever. If you buy one from masonry, it goes whoop right in because it's built that way. So I think it's important. I'm laughing at India's comment. So I want to give you guys a quick, while we wait for questions, I want to give you guys a quick rundown of how we're doing this. So I have an M2 MacBook Pro. These are the brand new DJI Mic 2s. And what I did is the receiver, I can't show you because it's physically connected with the USB cable. It would work without doing that because you can set up Bluetooth on the mics and connect the Bluetooth mics to the computer, but they didn't want to do that. I hardwire everything whenever possible. The OBSBot tail is behind us. That is our master camera. I did bring the little bitty OBSBot just in case the tail was, this is my first time using the tail outside like this.
It
because
works pretty well,
it can
actually
record directly into his body.
Yeah.
But this is our other guy, the OBSBot Tiny. So this was our backup.
Yep.
Or it could have been the master. And, you know, theoretically, we need to do some more stuff for the show. I can plug my tail Tiny and Katie's Tiny and have a 2-camera setup.
Yep.
So something like this works really good. If you happen to have something like this guy, this is the Osmo Pocket 3. It actually does have a webcam mode, and that would allow you also to still have the PTZ/gimbal action. But in this case, I'm using the tail. And then if you see Tech in the City Honolulu in any of the chats, I always get the Wi-Fi from him. This is a MiFi 6. So it's a Wi-Fi 5G, and it's connecting really good here because it's pulling the 5G UC, which is like I forgot how they call it, but it stands for like an ultra connection. And what that means is they have multiple 5G antennas in the same area and it stacks them together. So you should never be out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you connecting to one tower, you technically connect to like 4 or 5
kind
towers.
Kind of like Speedify, where it
it's
like
kind of like,
it together,
yeah, it's kind of like Speedify built into 5G. And hey, Tor helicopter.
And the important thing to remember, like when we were walking around kind of trying to figure out the best place to do this.
Oh, good point.
Is really like thinking through what space you're in, right? So in this particular case, even though the OBSBot is awesome and we love it, but like the most important thing are the microphones, right?
Correct.
Because like we could come in with poorer camera quality and you all would probably still sit here and listen lighting at all because the natural lighting outside was awesome. Whereas when we walked around inside, there were a lot of really cool spaces, but the lighting was terrible.
Right.
And so for us to try to like fandangle it to make it work for our, you know, quickly and easily to be able to do a live on location show, it wouldn't have been worth it.
That would have been worth it, right? Trying to set up, and then the hotel lighting is designed to make the space feel natural, so it's a little dim, and it would work, but we would look extremely like jaundiced, and I didn't want to do that. And so Katie made a valid point. Right outside the hotel lobby, there's a nice area with nice tables, and they actually have the overhead canopy, so you guys wouldn't have to see my glowing head. But they are playing basically Kenny G doctor's office music. And so I spoke to the bell captain and the desk lady, and they were gracious. They said they would turn it down. They said, oh, we can turn it down if you're going to be like 15, 20 minutes. I was like, no, we're probably going to be like an hour. So I don't want to do that. I'll go find a different spot. And so she said, check the restaurant, check the pool. I went to the restaurant. It's not busy right now, but of course, if people start coming, we wouldn't be able to control that. It has an outdoor eating area. And then the pool area was the best. There's nobody swimming right now. No little kids splashing around in the pool. But that would be far enough from these. It wouldn't be bothersome. And it would actually add a little fact to the fact that you're live. So even if you have to go back to an older set like the Rode Wireless Go 2 or the newer Rode Wireless Pros, like these Hollyland Larks, these are really good for these environments. Even our old school Pico would be good for this environment, except for they wouldn't have the wind reduction screen. The wind reduction screen, as you can tell by the plantage behind Katie's head, there's a lot of wind, but I don't think you guys can hear it because nobody complained about it. Or you can hear it, but it just sounds natural.
I wonder how, so we did also bring our Beta 58s, Shure Beta 58s, which are the wired, like, singer microphones. How would those have stood up to the wind if we had, because we could easily have plugged those in as well.
Because we have those orange covers, those orange covers are designed to cut the wind.
Right,
so they would do really good. And then the other thing that I would do, the wind is coming from your side. So I would hold my mic in a manner to use my hand to break it up. So if this was the top of the crown, I would just have this hand kind of here like I'm talking. And you see reporters do this a lot. They're not Puerto Rican or Italian.
Talking with their hands.
You're literally just helping to break the wind from hitting the bubble.
Got it.
So because when the wind hits here, it's going to expand around the hand. And so you see a lot of people doing stuff like this. They look like they're talking with their hand, but they're also blocking the wind.
Okay.
It's also the reason why a lot of reporters, if you remember the old sports guys, they use what we call the lollipop. Champagne has a little teeny bubble at the top and the thing. Lollipops are good because the surface area isn't so loud to pick up all that wind. Audio is good. Ecamm Live is maybe Paul or Caleb.
Paul or Caleb. Yeah,
or unless Ken and Glenn broke in.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Why don't you give, what might be kind of fun is, why don't you give us a sneak peek on what you're going to be talking about? Because you're presenting in the video track, the video podcasting track, which there's a ton of really great sessions in there, but Docs is one of them. So what are you going to be talking about?
So I'm going to be talking about repurposing. And I've come to the conclusion, and you actually did it right before we started without thinking about it. I think here's where people are getting missed opportunities. Repurposing is good, but it's very easy to just take and make one clip and use it everywhere. And if you know you're going to do that, you have to make the clip match all the platforms, right? So for instance, TikTok has a vibe, Instagram has a vibe, Instagram Shorts, YouTube Shorts has a vibe. So you kind of want to repurpose. Either knowingly you're going to do that, you're going to make the clip so that it will match anywhere. And if that's not the case, then you want to make the clip so that it matches each place. Luckily, with some of the tools like Opus Pro, you can change the clip just a little bit with various, add-ons or B-roll or whatever, that it will survive. And also now you can shorten some of them. But I think it's important to, when you know you're going to repurpose, you stop and you give that, the audience is cool. They're here, they're listening, and they're going to pick up on it. It's like, oh, you know what I just said was a good point. Let me reiterate that. Now, when you reiterate it in 60 seconds. Right? So for instance, in this particular moment, we say, okay, on the subject of repurposing content, what you want to do is make sure that in your recording, you record in a manner that will make it more accessible to repurposing. So if you have to reiterate a statement, reiterate that statement in like 20 to 60 to 30 seconds, and you'll end up with a better clip to cut instead of just say a natural cut. It is okay to reiterate to get a better cut. Now you know, right? So I can literally take that exact section and turn that into a clip. The other thing, right before we started, what you did was you busted up your phone real quick. You're like, here, this is behind the scenes.
Yep.
We're setting up. So you want to post those while you're setting up for the live to remind people that the live is coming. It reminds the future people that they missed out because they're not going to be able to watch this one because they got something to do. They got a doctor's office, getting their teeth fixed, whatever. So you're kind of you're not ready to see that right now, but now you have a mental note that on Tuesdays at this particular time, this show is live, and I kind of got some questions. Let me go see that.
Yeah.
So those behind the scene things, it's important. And then one that Katie and Luis and I talk about all the time is at the end, while it's fresh in your brain, if there was a good conversation, you're going to say, man, that episode was great. We just did our live recording, people, and Creative Amplifiers had a fantastic question. Repeat their question and re-answer it. And sometimes if you tell your guests ahead of time, hey, we might do some captures at the end.
Yeah.
So we're going to record for an hour and I'm going to need like 10 minutes after, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Because I want to recapture certain things or make promo clips.
Promo, yeah, exactly.
Leo has been doing this for years, and we do it before the show and we do it after the show. And he'll even record the promo for the show at the end of the show because you know what happened in the show. If that makes any sense, right? You can say,
yeah, it's way easier. And I've been doing this a lot for my my personal podcast too. If you are like me, so obviously for the flow, we have a team, we have, sorry guys, we have a team, we have a budget, you know, we have
gave it a hand gesture to say, follow me.
Sorry. We have, you know, it's a bigger deal than my personal podcast. So if you're just getting started and you're kind of in the same spot as me where you're, you know, you're bootstrapping it, you're trying to get up and running, it is way easier and cheaper and more time efficient, cost efficient to just record the extra promo content as its own thing. So I create an entire scene. You can do this as a profile as well in Ecamm, but I create a scene that's just called vertical, where I like, and at the end of every episode or the beginning, wherever I have the extra time, so it depends on week by week where the extra time is, I just switch over to that scene. And I you know, change it in Ecamm over to vertical, because that's the one that's going to be the most widely used across all the platforms, as Doc was saying. And then I just record my promo, and you know, I can record a couple of them. I try really hard to keep it under that 50 seconds. Yeah, we have a budget. Yeah. But that, you know, that allows me then to just bank those clips, and it takes an extra 10 minutes max. Like it's, you know, usually
100%.
5 minutes. And then I can just bank those clips. I can either use them right away if I have time and want to, but like that is more cost effective for me on my personal show than you know, paying for Opus or Descript or like, and those things do take time to clip things up, and they may not be as perfect. And I'll get there. Like I'm working my way up to be, because I do think that is a different look and is helpful, and I want to do that in addition to it. But at least I have a folder of promo videos for that show, just because I was able to spend a little bit of additional time and plan for it. Like it wasn't, you know, it was just planning, really.
It's like, okay, so here, two things I was going to say. I don't know if it would work now, but Luis, it'd be really cool if you could go into preview mode and make a vertical slice of me and a vertical slice of Katie and just let them see a preview of what that scene would look like.
Oh, yeah.
If that's complicated, don't bother. The other thing I was going to say, when I was in radio, and they would send us we would do the pre-shows at Tower Records, always, right?
Yeah.
And the artists would be sitting at a table like this. They got all the autograph posters, and it's Coolio, you know, he's signing all the posters and he's giving everything. My producer would say, can we get a couple sound bites from Coolio?
Yeah.
So what we would do is we would do the interview that's designed to help the promoters sell those last minute tickets on those last 3 days, because normally the artist comes to town a couple days earlier. But then while we're there, we would ask questions that we could use to promote the show. Be like, hey, this is Coolio Honolulu. I'm in town. And if you come to Waikiki Beach, you might see me out there trying to break my neck surfing. But don't forget, the concert is happening Friday at the Neil Blaisdell Center with I-94 and Tom Moffitt Productions, right? That would be basically the soundbite.
Yeah.
So what we would also do is get him to be like, hey, this is your man Coolio, and you're listening to my man Doc Rock and the Funk Evangelist on the Friday Night Mix Show. So I would sneak promos for my show because we was already there. I got all equipment. I got my extra sound person listening, and we're in a good spot and I got an artist in town, it takes 1 second to have them do that line.
Yeah.
And they always do that line without messing up. And even if they did mess it up, I would normally leave it because it's funnier to hear a celebrity screw up.
So true.
You know, and so to this day, you listen to radio and you'll hear, be like, oh, this is Jewel, and you're listening to Smooth Jam with DJ Camera Junkie.
Yeah, just bank that. Bank
You
it
bank
in a folder. Reuse
and we
it.
use it all the time.
Yeah.
I would use it in my mixtapes. I would use it in all kind of stuff. And if you've listened to the radio, you've always heard those DJ drops, as we call them.
Yeah.
Basically what that is. And you even hear it on sports right now. You know, your favorite athletes or your favorite boxers, if there's going to be a UFC fight, that irritating Irish guy will say, you know, how's Conor McGregor? I'm going to be punching this guy in the face on Saturday. I hate that guy. Anyway, but you know, you got to do that. So while you have your guests, right? Andy and I, we talked a couple seconds after I was on his show.
Yeah.
But you know, Andy wasn't smart enough to be like, oh, let's make some real promos. But I did steal a reel from Andy this week. Thank you, Andy. So yeah, even if you're a guest, ask the host, hey, can we do a couple clips that we can use on our socials? Because maybe they forgot. Yeah. So if you're the guest, remind them.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, and we were talking about this earlier before we set up for the show, but huge shout out to people like Jeff C., who runs Social Media News Live, his regular podcast, because he's like the king of repurposing. Like,
oh God, he's so good.
So like once you have that bank of, you know, of video clips and sound bites and, you know, photos and quotes and all that stuff that you can use, don't just use it once to promote the show and then just never look at it again. If it's like an evergreen piece of helpful information or a pro tip or something cool that someone said, like especially on platforms like X, where there's just such a speed to that platform that you can share those again and again, like once every week, once every other week. Like, don't be afraid to reuse the same clip or pull something out of it.
I am so guilty, and I want to say this as a confession, because you guys do the same thing. If you look at any of the prominent accounts on any of the platforms, they have posted the same video several times.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's super Uji. But maybe I should shut up, because I always tell you guys, feelings ain't facts. And people, if the big guys are doing it, nobody cares.
Yeah.
So you should probably do that. So for instance, Andy made a clip and he posted it, and it was cool. So I said, Andy, can I get that clip? And he was like, yeah, no problem. I don't know why he was still awake that late, because it was late in Honolulu. So Andy emails me the clip, but instead of putting it on IG like his, I dropped it on TikTok.
Yep.
And because that was last week, now I can drop it again on IG from my account.
Yep.
And then tag Andy. Now, for people, especially in the fam, when you're doing a clip with, say, somebody else from the fam, put them as a collaborator versus a tag.
Yep.
That is a very key element. I'm always yelling at Caleb, because Caleb will tag me in clips, and I'm like, Mary, bad word, please do collaborator. What that does is both of you guys get count for the views.
Yeah.
Right?
It just amplifies the reach.
It amplifies the reach.
Yeah.
What the secret squirrel is, don't tell nobody I said this, lean in closely. If you tag someone that has a bigger account than you, all of their views show up on your account, and you'll get a lot of followers from that, which is why when you see certain reels, it says so-and-so and so-and-so.
Yeah, that's a collaboration.
The collaboration is the button you want to press.
Don't do it every time though. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. you have to trust in yourself and know this is a banger.
It's got to be a good clip,
valuable.
And you do it once per person, because you don't want them to feel like you're stealing their thunder.
Correct.
But yes.
So, for instance, I did a clip with maybe DJI or somebody recently, and I had the product. And instead of just tagging that product and the company, I actually tagged it as a collaborator. Mm-hmm. And their social media account liked the video and they clicked it too.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if your reel is booty, they're never going to press it. Right? So, but they'll just ignore the invitation. But sometimes remember to do the collaboration thing. And then I just asked Andy for the clip. Andy sent it to me and I posted on a different one. And then again, we'll both be able to turn back around later and post it onto, say, YouTube. So now I can take the same clip and use it multiple times. Or because the YouTube one is shorter, I'm going to cut the clip again. right? Make it tighter. For TikTok, it's longer, so maybe I can add a thing. And I went to go find the Podcast Answers TikTok account, and it doesn't exist, Andy. So you need to add that. So there you go. Yeah, I think it's very important. Remember, if you somebody posts you in a reel, ask them, hey, can I get it? It's okay.
Yeah.
Like most people don't care. If they care, then just make your own. And I will tell you guys secretly how to download a video from, say, YouTube or your podcast place, and then you can make your own clips. If the other guys don't do it, you make it anyway and just tag them. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I need to re-step up my repurpose game. And sometimes they just need a nudge or a reminder. So you're kind of helping them out if you make it, or make it and send it to them.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a guest, you make the 7 reels and you send it to them, and they have a bigger following, they'll post them because the work's already done.
Yeah. Yep. Or they'll just, even better, they'll just reshare yours, which gives you, like, you know, even more eyes on your account. So
yeah. So imagine this. You just did I'll pick on Andy because I'm still picking on Andy. Andy just did a killer interview with this handsome bald guy from Honolulu. And he had some clips that really worked. And then you can say, guys, here's why I use Ecamm. And actually the show was about Ecamm, but he can say, here's why I use Ecamm, because I am able to not only record my podcast with Doc, but I can make these clips that I can use to promote with Doc. And here's how I did it. I pulled it into my favorite, whatever your editing app. Step 1, load the old thing. Step 2, find sections to clip. Step 3, add the captions. 4, save it. And remember to email them to the person that was the guest. That would be Andy's reel. If Andy sent that reel to us and was like, dear Caleb at ecamm.com, I made a reel for you that explains how we share reels using collaboration and Ecamm, right? Caleb would be like, oh, this work's already done. And Katie said, you need to post 5 shorts this week. Number 4, I got 4 left now. Hi, dude. Welcome to the show. You know, so like sometimes, and they do this in news.
Yeah.
When you ask the news, can I be on the 7 o'clock news? The reporter's going to be like, no, because the reporter got to do work. So what we would do is send them the 10 questions with the 10 answers and the request. Now they don't have to do any work. All they got to do is show up and ask the question that they know you're going to answer. You're not going to flub the answer because you already gave them the answer. That's how you get the news to cover your event. Same thing.
So Andy's asking, and I'd have to open my phone. I could open my phone.
Your phone is not doing anything.
I have to open my phone just to say, where is the collaboration button? So
I don't know. It's in Instagram, and it's no, I'm sorry.
I think it only exists in stories and reels. Is that the case?
Just go to make a
All right, so I'm going to make this reel again.
We're currently setting up for
I'm going to turn it down and click next.
Yep. Go to next.
I'm going to click next.
And then go to tag people.
Tag people. So we're going to go through to set up in a reel, and then you're going to click to tag people.
Bam.
And then I don't know if you can see this, but there is a...
Yeah, I had it right there. Invite collaborators.
So don't click add tag, click invite collaborators. Now I gotta back out of this.
Andy says, shh, I know how to spell it.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna start over.
So you made the reel already, right?
I made the reel already.
Okay, so we're gonna do this live. Okay, this is our show. We do what the hell we want.
Oh wait, I gotta go to the Ecamm one though.
No.
Because I shared it on the Ecamm first.
Okay.
Oh no, I shared it as a story on Ecamm and a reel on
your personal one. So on your personal one, click the reel, hit the middle section, it's faster.
Yep.
And then go to the edit button. And then
edit, yep.
We can go to edit and then go to tag people.
Oh, now it just tags.
Tap the tag.
Nope.
Wait, let me see.
Wait. No. That's why you should never do things live.
No, you should, because then everybody can know that sometimes it was there and maybe they moved it.
The other question that Rich had, and I don't know if this was a serious question or not, but I'm going to answer this one anyway because I learned this recently. So Rich was basically like, what's the deal with Instagram stories? Which has been my question for years. But I will say that Instagram stories is just a really great way to get your content out beyond your own audience. So like if there's an important, so for example, I just shared this behind the scenes video as a reel, right? So that's sitting just on my account itself. It's a reel. But if I also shared that as a story, so if I just went into the reel and then shared it as a story, it would get more eyes on it because people are often clicking through stories to just kind of watch them idly. So it just amplifies your message. So I was with you for a while because I was like, well, these are dumb because they disappear. I worked hard on this content. I don't want it to disappear. But it's, Instagram is basically giving you this space for a day. So if you're not putting anything out on that day, you're not part of the conversation at all. So you should always try to have at least one story for every single day, even if you're just resharing some of the content.
So here's the secret to Instagram stories as well. Okay, so if you go to my Instagram account and you look from me like a couple days ago, there's a story it's basically like I want to go back again.
Yeah.
So what happens is when I was in Fukuoka, I posted maybe like 20 stories. Instagram comes up and says, hey, you want to make a reel out of your stories? And the answer is always yes.
Sure.
Why is the answer
Why
always
not?
yes? Because you need to make the damn reels
Yeah.
and you haven't been doing it. So the reason why they ask you is because it's been 3 days and you haven't posted a reel, which is breaking your behavior.
Yeah.
So they will legit make a reel for you. It's already done. And I look at it real quick and everything was perfect. One picture was sucked. It wasn't what I wanted to share because it just landed in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it didn't go in that list,
Yeah.
but the way the list was going,
It didn't look right.
it just didn't look right. All you do is tap that and say replace, and I replaced it with a different photo from a camera roll.
Yeah.
Which was a better photo.
Yeah.
And then just say go, and the reel is already done.
Yeah.
So if you made a bunch of behind the scene stories, if it was just you screwing the tripod,
you can
the
go
camera,
both ways. You can turn reels into stories and stories into
reels, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're just, you're screwing this tripod together, you're putting it, like I was setting the Osbot up on this little PGY Tech, and I'm just building it. And if it was just nothing but me building to get set up for a stream, and it's like setting up for a podcast, and then now, listen carefully, you can put Amazon.to links in the links to your Instagram stories. I'm gonna run that back again. You can put Amazon.to links in the Instagram stories. So if all it was me screwing the Osbot to the PGY Tech Mantis Pod, and I tagged both of those products on Amazon, hello,
Yeah.
you guys are trying to make perfect. So I've been purposely making ugly reels so that people can just know. And not Gretchen, what's the short lady from North Carolina with the country accent? Kathy. I couldn't do class that week that I was in Japan. So, oh no, I had my teeth pulled out.
Yeah.
So Kathy told them everybody got to do ugly reels, and there's no excuses. No excuses. Louise cranked out reels like every day for like a week.
Yeah.
And they were good.
Yeah.
So your own version of ugly is probably good to somebody else.
Eden's right here too. So shout out to Eden who's hanging out in the live studio audience. Eden says, I know so many people that have the compulsive need to look through all the stories on their feed. 100%. And if your story is not there.
Wait, she's talking about herself, first of all, because I know.
I'm that person as well.
If you guys want to see something really funny, watch Eden standing on her head in her story today. She's trying to do this yoga thing and she's standing on her head and she almost fell and broke her ass.
And do you want to know, like, I wouldn't consider myself like I'm more cheap than I am shopaholic, but the amount of stuff that I buy from Instagram stories,
100.
Because what ends up happening is, right, I'm like watching my friends do their thing. I'm watching Eden do her handstands and being like, oh, I should get back into yoga, and then it immediately goes into an ad, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, like, and then like next thing, and then it's like an ad again, and then I'm getting like in the post, the same ad coming up, and I'm like, all right, like it is amazing how like that marketing works.
And so, I do want to see it, Eden, with the swear words, so don't cut them out. Because she's like, I'm really saying all these swear words while I'm going into this post. I just want to see you like F, 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 ouch, 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 ouch. And like, that would be better. And then, and you can just challenge your friends. So my friend does this. She has a really, really cute puffy palm thing. It's about yo big, and it looks like a scrubber.
It's like a pom but an animal.
Yeah, it's a dog, but it looks like a scrubber. It's only about yo big.
Yeah.
And she goes, here's mine, how about yours? And she will literally get like 300 people send a picture of their dog as a follower into that reel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you would love to get a post with not just 300 likes, but actual interactions.
Yeah. People love to answer questions. I'm actually bad for that. I see all of that, and then I immediately forget because I get busy or whatever else, and then I never ever think to do those videos, and those are so easy.
All right, got a challenge for everybody. Somebody right now, go in the back of your setup and shoot a picture of your wire mess and be like, this is my wire nest. Show me yours.
We will totally share our wire.
And we would everybody
Man,
just
I wish I was in
share
the
your
office.
holler back.
The one in the
My
office
wire mess is
bad.
cool right now. It's only on this table outside.
Yeah.
But yo, that nest that looks like you could like put a couple captives in it.
Yeah.
Like, or the one that
That's
we had in the
one.
office that every time Luis comes to the studio, Luis is like, ah.
Okay, you need to scroll up. I'm going to break it, but there was a question that we missed. So we're just going to scroll back up quickly. Hang in there with us. All right. Tim asked, do you guys record separate video tracks in 16:9 Ecamm to create 9:16 promos later? Or as Katie said, she records separate. So I record them separately just because then I don't have to futz with it. There's like, for me, it's time or money, and often both, to get someone brilliant like Luis or a software tool or both to like position it correctly, right? Because it's like, this one, for example, Doc and I are next to each other, we're widescreen. If I wanted like a vertical video that looked appropriate for the platform, I would want us to be stacked one on top of each other with like the graphics correctly around us, right?
But this is so easy though. You take this, right? You go in your editing software, you split a clip in half, right? So like we're here, you're literally going to, say Osbot just did it for me. Hey, Osbot. So you're going to split this clip in half, and you're going to turn me into a box and Katie into a box, and you just stack us.
See, but
it's so simple.
In the time that it takes you to do that, I could just record my my vertical video and have the exact content I want in it. So like, I don't disagree. It's absolutely doable. It's a mindset. So it depends on what way you want to go. But for me, I don't have time in my day right now. Eventually, I'd like to get there to train myself how to do that. But it takes me seconds because I have Ecamm to build a scene out in Ecamm.
And the cheat is the promo tools that do this now.
I literally use the same graphics and I just like rearrange them so that it shows up.
So the cool thing with Opus and these other guys now is because they're listening to the voice, it will take this as this.
So
and it'll
money.
Move. Sorry.
So like time versus money, right? So like Opus now, and Opus is not actually all that expensive. So like this is short money, but if you spend short money with Opus, yes, it will do it automatically.
It will do it for you. But I agree with you. So Tim, at the end of your show, when you're done, you're already there. Just go to your vertical scene and reiterate. And it is okay to leave the 16:9, and when you drop it in the IG, you push it higher in the frame, and in the bottom, you put your captions.
Yeah.
Right? IG will do the captions for free.
IG will do the captions for you.
I use captions. I pay $50 a year for captions. But captions is dope. It's one of the best in the game. But you can legit take your 16:9 and move it up. Or here's a better clip. Drop in your 16:9, stretch it. It doesn't matter how you stretch it, forward, crooked, whatever. Put the blur filter on, blur the F out of it. Then drop your other video back on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you have that. The news does it all the time. You just do it in reverse.
It just looks
so
cool,
you're here and then you got the blurry. So I wouldn't stress out of it. If the content is good, especially in a podcast, you're never really showing anything in the 16:9 that anybody needs to see. It's connecting the eye to the conversation. So if I was giving you an important advice about how to run a podcast ad to get more people to come to your show and how to run an ad for $25, looking at my ugly fat self doesn't matter. Looking at Katie doesn't matter. The actual information is what matters. So leaving it as the tiny window, I'm using my Wi-Fi. If this was only us and this was all a simple color space, it would be the logo, the link, or the captions down here on the bottom.
Yeah, so people could read the words.
So you can read the words. If they really don't, nobody really cares what's in the video. If it's less, that's part of the show. If you're doing a purpose record, like a little film, that's a different conversation.
Which also gets me thinking. I had the pleasure of being a podcast guest for Kendra's show, Invisible to Invincible podcast. Awesome show. Plug there.
I love Kendra.
She's fantastic. But one thing she said that really got me thinking, and I would even like to do this more for our show and for my personal show, is she was like, I don't do a lot of complicated graphics, or really, like, she had a very simple, even more simple than our border right here, right? Super simple, graphics around for her show. Like, I don't even think she had lower thirds at all. Like, really, really simple, because she's like, in order for my workflow to work for my time, I need for like the video to be as clean as possible so that when I'm repurposing it, I don't have to worry about like, oh, the graphics don't line up or they look weird or they're chopped funny. Like it's just not, it doesn't look the way I want it to. And that's the smart decision. Like we're all here trying to look as like professional and cool and awesome as possible. And video lets you do all of that. But there are a lot of cases where you don't or shouldn't do all of that because you don't have the time, or it's not the best way to spend your time, or it's not the best way to spend the money, or like you don't, like me, you don't have time or energy or want to learn how to do this video editing. You're just trying to focus on the content itself. That's why you have the show, and amplifying the content and being able to spend your time doing the things that are going to add the most value towards your goals, right? So for her, getting all of those content pieces out to her guests so that they can help her repurpose to grow the show, that's way more important to her than how cool her graphics look. So she's just cut them out.
So, man, you know I say this over and over again. It drives me crazy in the Ecamm community that everybody wants to look perfect.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look professional. Don't look professional, be professional.
Yeah.
Anybody can look professional, but then your content doesn't have any base to it. No one's coming. Like if you went to the Wizard of Oz and you get in there and you find out it's a little person behind the thing, you're like disappointed. You never want to see the wizard again.
Yeah.
The mystery was in the wizard being the wizard. And Dorothy found out the hard way. That's why they say don't meet your heroes, right? You guys please meet me though.
Unless your hero is Doc, in which case that's fine.
In this case, it's cool. But yeah, like it's more important that you actually get out that good content and you focus on learning to speak better, learning to ask better questions, having that good follow-up sequence, having, all of those things are more important. And anybody that you watch me teach all this complicated stuff, but if you watch my actual stream, I don't do no animations, no twirls, no graphics, no swirls. I don't even like motion in the background. Like we have a solid background now. I don't like movies back there. I don't do any green screen, none of that. Because what I have to tell you is important. And if my face was not even on the screen, if all you saw was a black image and you just listened to what I had to say, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, what I'm teaching you has jack to do with how cool my studio looks. There's, well, why do you have a nice studio? Because my family owned an electronics store.
Because it's fun.
So when I started this, I had most of the equipment that you guys had to go buy. Like I could have started my live streaming journey with a red camera. I had 2 brand new ones sitting on the floor, but that wasn't the point. Like it's not about the gear. I was trying to teach you how to, get to use the Ecamm.
Yeah.
And so what I eventually did with my red cameras is I gave them to Tom, and then Tom gave one to Luis. Like I didn't even keep I could have kept using my red camera, but like I'm trying to simplify it. I don't want to set up a $75,000 camera to do a damn stream. It's ignorant. So now it's at Tom's house and Luis's house because it was just in the way. Like it's I think and I've people in my stream know this. On the floor underneath my feet is a $3,000 mic, but I'm not using it to do a live stream. When someone says, "Hey, can you come and voice a commercial?" Can I bring my mic? Yes, I bring my mic. And all the engineers always go, "Wow, where'd you get this?" And I'm like, "I bought it. I've had it. I've had it for years since my radio days, right?" Yeah. And then, but like it's impressive to them. It would be not impressive to anybody in the live stream because they're like, I got an MV7. What is that ugly thing you got? And audio people would be like, damn, this dude is talking in the AKG tube. But most of y'all would look at that thing and be like, that's an ugly mic. Like, why are you using that? You should probably get a Yeti. And I kind of want to kick you in the, never mind. So
we're just calling BS because you have your fancy lights, your Christmas light up flashy lights.
My Christmas lights are for me, fam.
Those are for
and
fun.
They're $120. And I suggest everybody buy one, use my link. But those Christmas lights are for me. I like the fact that it's a spectrum analyzer. And of all the things it can do, I picked the dumbest thing that it can do. But I like that because it reminds me of the equalizer when we were kids. You would jump in the car and everybody had, Luis knows, everybody had the equalizer in the car with all the little bouncies.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally just for me. I really don't care. But yeah.
All right. Well, we are nearing the end of our hour, but I didn't want to end without doing a fun merch giveaway because we have new Flow
Kenny Glenn
shirts.
Gave away all the merch. We don't have any.
They didn't give away any of, so Doc is modeling if you're listening, you'll have to come by to see one of the videos, but it'll be too late to win at that point anyway.
Wait, I want to do the Paul pose, but that means I got to get up, go
But-
lean on the pole and be like,
Doc is modeling. I don't have mine yet, even because I was ordering for the team and not for myself yet. But it is our new Flow Rider shirt. It will come in purple eventually, but right now it's in navy blue, and it's really fun and it's cozy and awesome and wonderful. And let's give away 3 of them.
What's really good about this, it comes in 2 styles. You can get the heavyweight style, which I'm modeling now.
Doc loves how soft
which
it is.
is good for the softness, and it's good for people that come in Doc and Rich size. So you can get these up to 3X. And then there's also the Bella Canva, which is the more tighter,
a little
fitted,
thin, stretchy,
you know, if
soft.
you're like India and you're trying to show off your guns, then you want to get that one. Because India, like I like me a Bella Canva, because India, she's always like, you know, I hope she's not listening still. She's gonna be pissed.
All right, so we got to figure out a good way to do it. We need a random. If only we had a giveaway tool built in the Ecamm. We don't have a giveaway tool yet. We need a fun random way to do it. Let's say.
Oh, Mark had a statement. Go ahead, you keep going. I'm looking for Mark had a thing earlier which made me crack up laughing.
Let's say the first person to share a podcasting pro tip. Wins.
Hey, Mary Lou.
Hey, Mary Lou.
What it do?
All right, so the first person to share a podcasting pro tip is going to win the first t-shirt. And if you want to grab any of our new merch, you can go over to merch.ecamm.com. We have some awesome fun stuff. We're going to have the co-founders of Fourth Wall, which is the tool that we're using for our merch site. We're going to have them on a master class soon, so you can learn all about them. But hey, you're getting out of the way. All right, we need a pro tip. We need an awesome
Rich is
pro
good.
tip.
I give Rich is correct. Where did Rich is good?
Rich has got, okay, so Rich wins the first one. Tip, just get started. Use your phone.
Just go for it.
All right, and George has got the second tip, so George wins the second one. We need one more pro tip, friends.
That was easy, George, but that's the answer. Like, that's legit the answer.
All right, Eric's got one. So Eric is number 3.
Actually, Andy is there.
Oh, shoot. All right, so we'll do Andy. We'll do 4. Okay, so our 4 winners are Rich, George, Andy, and Eric. Thank you so much for, you know what? 5. One more for Gabe. We'll do 5. 5 winners. And Gabe.
Don't give Gabe.
No, we got to give Gabe. So email marketing@ecamm.com and we will get your Flow Rider t-shirt out to you as soon as possible. Email me over at marketing@ecamm.com. Thank you for those amazing, amazing pro tips.
Dude, Eric, you have no idea how true this is. Oh my God, can you see it? I can't reach it right now. So Katie in India, we just finished breakfast, Eric, and I want to get a picture of Katie in India. So I have my Fuji with me. I bust it up, and I was like, oh, the lens cap on. So that was like basically an hour ago. So
solid tip.
Super funny,
Doc
Eric.
needed that tip an hour ago.
That was super funny. Oh my God, it's good. I can't believe Gabe comes sliding in, trying to get, don't forget to talk. Gabe, we're going to fight after this. I love Gabe. Gabe's hilarious.
Well, follow along with us. We're going to be taking over the Ecamm Instagram account with some awesome stories and reels with our messy wires here on location, but also behind the scenes. We're going to be grabbing all the pro tips from every single podcaster that we talk to. Doc's got a challenge. He's got to get pro tips from literally every podcaster he can bump into.
As many pro tips as possible.
So we will collect all of those pro tips for you. But if you have any questions or you want to know anything from this event, definitely you can email us at flow@ecamm.com. We're happy to take any of those questions. And if you're here at the event, come and find us.
Yeah. So the first person, if you can, those who remember, send me a picture of a messy wire so that I can post it. And then I'm going to put the question, show us your wire mess, and then everybody just add to that. Or if somebody wants to kickstart it and tag Ecamm, I don't know if you can tag it as a collaborator in the story.
Try.
But yeah. It'll be fun. And we're going to bug Caleb, and Caleb's going to be like, damn it, you guys left me in the office, and then you gave me all this extra crap to do.
I know, it's so true.
Anyway, make sure you check out flow.ecamm.com, wherever your podcast getting is got. That is one of the coolest ways to get podcasted. And this and every show is brought to you by Captivate. Captivate is what we use as our live streaming platform because they have a growth mindset. It's built around growth. It's designed to really help podcasters get out there. They even have, it's funny, I want to always say Creative Suite, but they have I I want to say creative suite, which is Adobe. They have a creator suite or a content suite, which is designed to give you all the tools in the right place to grow your setup. So check out Captivate at captivate.fm. We really should have ecamm.com/captivate.
I know we're chatting with Mark and the Captivate team at Movement Podcast Movement
So
coming up in March.
yeah.
So we'll get some fun.
We'll get 'em.
We'll get him on the show to share some updates from Captivate and
they're really good. They're kind of like us. They're small and scrappy.
Yep.
And like Danny Brown will pop up in your show randomly and just have random craziness to say.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Say hi to our friends.
We're big fans of them. Yeah, and huge thank you to everyone who shows up. This was fun to do, just kind of a live chill show.
Yeah,
a
I
chill
like it.
hot show from Orlando.
I like it. Oh, so the next one we're going to do is going to be coming to you from Flatbread Pizza in Amesbury. And the CC1 guys will understand, but we're going to do live from Flatbread Pizza.
Yeah,
We just do it right in front of the oven.
that would be fun.
This was cool. I actually liked it. And big ups to our people at Osbot. So you can tell them the picture quality is good. You just have to remember not to do this in the middle of the stream. And
yeah, it turns out PTZ cameras are great if you don't talk with your hands.
So Katie is gone now, and it's just Doc. And look, I can even do this.
Zoom in. I can still.
It worked. It worked. It did it. So now, man, they got to get vocal tracking, so it would just slowly move back and forth. Yo, anyway, so good stuff. Go ahead and check it out. If you guys have any questions, you know how to reach us. There is a question space on PodFest.
You can leave a voicemail. Huge thank you to there's I think 3 of you who sent in a voicemail, literally just saying like, hey, this is a voicemail for Katie. So thank you so much for doing that. But yeah, definitely send in your questions either by voicemail or email.
You know what I was waiting for?
We're checking them.
I was waiting for Rich to call and be like, hey, Ecamm, you guys have Prince Albert in the can? You better let him out. Ha!
Send us your funny jokes. Send us the voicemail channel is yours.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, gang. You know, this is my favorite part of the show. And Aiden is going to wake up because he's going to hear Uncle say it. Flow Riders out.